beloved maniacs. Yes, I'm back. And yeah, if you've been following this channel for quite some time, you know that I used to do movie reviews, but lately I've been trying to shift this channel a little bit. It used to be called Lassiter Enterprises, but now it's called Lassiter Factor, and by extension, Lassiter Factor Production. Now, given the state of the world and me working 2 jobs, I just don't have the time to make dedicated videos. But then one day I thought, what if I made monthly videos where I break down everything that happened in the world of movies and TV? And that's what I plan on doing with this series of videos, where I'm just doing monthly videos where I break down all the news and everything I watched during the month. And in this case, during the month of May. And then I'll always do a special segment with it as well. It'll be something different every episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is the Lassiter Factor Monthly Report.
Snapback.
The New Mutants finally gets a new release date, which is set to come out August 28th, 2020. This poor movie just can't catch a break. It has been delayed to come out at least 5 times up until this point. It was shot in 2017. Its first trailer came out in 2017. It was supposed to come out April 13th, 2018. But then pushed back to February 22nd, 2019 to avoid Deadpool 2. Then it got pushed back to August 2nd, 2019 to avoid Dark Phoenix, which came out a couple of months prior to that. Then it was supposed to come out April 3rd after Disney acquired Fox. But then after this fucking pandemic, it has now been pushed back to August 28th, 2020. Many speculated on whether or not New Mutants would get put on Hulu, which is owned by Fox, which got acquired by Disney, which will be a smart thing for Disney to do, but I guess they're gonna try one last time, or hopefully one last time, and hopefully movie theaters open up by then. I really hope so, because I've been dying to see this movie, and a lot of people have been waiting to see this movie. This poor movie just can't catch a break, but we shall see when the movie comes out. HBO Max is the latest of many streaming services to launch. Personally, I did not get HBO Plus because there's just too damn many and I can't pay for them all, even though half of them I don't even pay for myself. I give a shout out to my mom who pays for both Netflix and Hulu, and both me and my mom are Verizon customers, so we get Disney Plus for free for a year. I only have Amazon Prime through one of my good friends, shout out to him. I don't have Apple Plus because Apple, why you need your own streaming service? You're doing just fine with all your tech and iTunes. Why you need your own streaming service? But to their credit, I've heard that they have some pretty dope shows in there, like Defending Jacob. If I ever get the chance to, I will watch that because I'm really curious to watch that show, as well as that Beastie Boys documentary. But from what I've seen from HBO Max, it just looks like HBO on steroids, because they just have all of, if not most of Warner Brothers films on there, from all the Harry Potter films, all the DC films, but they don't even have every DC related content on there. Like, they have I believe every DCEU movie on there except Man of Steel. Like, there's not a single Superman movie on there, unless Superman is sharing a movie with Batman, like Batman vs. Superman. And not only that, but you also gotta think, they also have DC Universe, which is where most of their DC content is, and then you also have HBO Go, HBO Now, and then now you're asking people to pay for HBO Max, but you say there's all these different versions of HBO that you're asking people to pay for when you should have just merged everything together. Like, hey, you're already paying for HBO Now, don't worry about it. It will merge with HBO Max when it launches. But from what I've seen, it did have some cool stuff on there. Like, they have different tabs, like they have the movie classics on there. And some of their content is cool, like they have this documentary called On the Record. It's about Russell Simmons, and I'm kind of curious to watch that. And then they have this new run of Looney Tunes shorts, so if I ever get a chance, I would love to watch that. But there's only one thing that will get me to sign up for HBO Max, at least for a brief period, and that is because Zack Snyder finally responded to the hashtag Release the Snyder Cut and says that Zack Snyder's version of Justice League will be released on HBO Max in 2021. Now, I have been very critical of the DCEU up until this point, but I don't think it's all bad. But the Justice League version that we all got, while I enjoyed it at first, I did not have the urge to ever rewatch it again after that unless I'm marathoning every DCEU movie. A lot of people felt that WB did Zack Snyder dirty. Zack Snyder, granted for tragic reasons, left, and Joss Whedon took over, and that's when we got this Frankenstein of a monster movie that just doesn't really add up. But luckily, Warner Brothers is throwing Zack Snyder some money to finish the Snyder Cut, and it will be available on HBO Max in 2021. And now for the next segment, I will run down everything I watched throughout the month of May. And if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you pretty much know what everything I watched. In fact, if you saw those one-sentence reviews I did, you know how I feel. But I thought I'd just take this segment to pretty much elaborate just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, on how I feel about some of these movies. So let's get into it. Six Underground. I finally watched that movie, and as I said before, Michael Bay probably took 6 lines of cocaine before making this movie, because this is the most Michael Bay movie I have ever seen, and I've seen the Transformers films. Now, I do like some of his films, like I like the first 2 Bad Boys films that he made, I like Pain and Gain, I like Transformers 1 and 3, all the other ones. I like 13 Hours. I haven't seen Pearl Harbor in a long time, but maybe I'll rewatch that. But I've never seen The Rock or Armageddon. But now I have a chance to watch some older movies that I've been meaning to watch, so I'll eventually get to watching The Rock and Armageddon. But as for Six Underground, I really could care less about seeing this again. Extraction was another movie I watched, and as I said in my review, if watching Chris Hemsworth John Wick his way through a bunch of nameless criminals just to protect this kid is your thing, then you will enjoy this film. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy this film while I was watching. I just don't feel like watching this movie ever again, despite the fact that I gave this movie the thumbs up emoji. Scuba was just meh for me. That's why I gave it the shoulder shrug emoji. I really did not care for the world building they was trying to do in this movie. Warner Brothers was clearly trying to set up a Hanna-Barbera universe with Captain Falcon. The animation was weird. In fact, as I said, I'd rather watch the live-action Scooby-Doo movies from the early 2000s. And despite the fact those movies are flawed, at least those told a Scooby-Doo story that was focused, unlike Scooby. The Wrong Missy, I totally forgot to make an Instagram post about this, but if I did, I would give it the thumbs up emoji, which is what I give this film. In fact, I had more fun watching Laura Lapkus act a damn fool and driving David Spade insane than watching The Lovebirds. Again, the chemistry between Issa and Kamal Nujami just doesn't work romantically. They should have just been a platonic relationship like roommates or something. The story was relying on them just ad-libbing and improv, which can work, but in this case, since they just don't have that chemistry that the movie required, it just didn't work, or at least it just didn't work for me. Next up, I break down all the TV I watched throughout the month of May. Star Wars The Clone Wars aired its final 4 episodes of not just season 7, but of the series period. Now personally, my history with Star Wars The Clone Wars, I think I watched the movie years ago when it first came out, and then I just didn't care after that. Even when they brought the show on Cartoon Network, I didn't watch it then. But then recently, and especially since once Disney acquired it, I've been slightly more interested in watching it, but there's just too many episodes, and especially since all the episodes are out of order, which was dumb as fuck. I don't know why they did that instead of putting them in order. But luckily, I did watch this recap video. I think it's on Screen Crush. Shout out to them. Watch that. They have this recap video where they just recap everything you need to know about the Clone Wars and everything you didn't need to know. But it's really good. I suggest you check them out. I'll remember to put a link in the description. But I did watch that video, and I think I know just everything I need to know about the Clone Wars, and so that when I got to the final 4 episodes, I didn't watch all the other episodes in season 7, because from what I've heard also is that those episodes were really just filler and irrelevant, but it's the final 4 episodes that matter the most. And right there were, because I'm telling you, those final 4 episodes, if you love Revenge of the Sith, I'm telling you, they tie it into Revenge of the Sith seamlessly, and it's all through Ahsoka's point of view. In fact, if you cut this movie in Revenge of the Sith, it's almost like you're watching an extended version of that film. And it ends Ahsoka Tano's arc so beautifully with the show. It gives great closure for the show and to the fans that have been following the show for years. How to Get Away with Murder had its series finale. Now, my personal history with the show, I believe, the first 3 seasons, and then after that, I feel like the show just kind of declined, but I still watch it either way, because I feel like there's many people out there that just really didn't care for the show no more, but still watch it just to see how it all ends in the end, and by the time which season is it again? Shit. Look, we're just over this. Let's just finish watching this so that we can get it out the way. But after watching the series finale, I gotta say, I actually liked it. And the way they ended Annalise Keating's story, who's played wonderfully by Viola Davis, is one of her best roles in years, and she's done fences. But the way they ended Annalise Keating's story on the show, I felt they did it so beautifully. I suggest you check it out, especially if you're a fan of the show. Or just watch for that final episode. For the third and final segment, I will do something different every time. And for this episode, we have 3 movie anniversaries to celebrate. So the latest MCU movie, Black Widow, was supposed to come out May 1st, which is the weekend of my birthday, May 2nd, but because of this fucking pandemic, it got pushed back to November. And I was really looking forward to watching this movie the weekend of my birthday, and so me looking to get my Marvel fix on, I was thinking. Then I thought about all the movies that came out 10 years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, Iron Man 2 came out 10 years ago. So I watched it, and despite the fact that I really didn't want to watch it for critically obvious reasons, but because, I spent most of last year marathoning all the Marvel movies leading up to Endgame, so it's like, I am done with Marvel movies, I am done marathoning them. But then I thought, you know what? Not only we watch this movie because it's 10-year anniversary, but also watch it through the looking glass of Black Widow, since it is her first movie. So I figured, you know what? From now on until November, hopefully Black Widow comes out in November, movie is open up by then. But from now until then, I will just watch all the movies featuring Black Widow month by month. And so this month I started out with Iron Man 2, which features Black Widow. Now, looking back on Iron Man 2, yes, that movie has problems, but there were still some good things in it. Like the first time we see Don Cheadle as War Machine, the action was fun. Like, I love the race scene between Iron Man and Whiplash. I love the final act, Robert Downey Jr., the relationship between Tony and his dad, which gets established and becomes relevant in future movies. We get to see the history of Howard Stark and how he ties into the Vancos. Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer is a delight to watch, but it still does have its flaws, like some excessive world building, the potential demons in the bottle storyline that I felt kind of got downgraded because at this point Disney bought Marvel, and so we don't want to talk about alcohol in our movies, so like, why? The banter between Tony and Pepper just gets annoying as hell. Whiplash is one of the weakest villains that Marvel put out, and even though this is Black Widow's first appearance, I feel like her role in this film kind of got her marginalized, and she's just a victim of the world building. And she was just in this movie just to establish her character so that you know who she is when you see her in the first Avengers movie. Now back to Star Wars, let's not forget that May the 4th was also in the month of May. And then the day after that was Revenge of the 5th. Speaking of Revenge of the Sith is celebrating its 15th anniversary. Well, just think, Revenge of the Sith, in 6 years you'll be able to drink. But you know who can drink? The Empire Strikes Back, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary. The Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980. We're now in 2020. Wow. Now, I would rewatch Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back, but after Rise of Skywalker, I'm just burnt out with Star Wars right now, and I really just do not feel like rewatching movies that I watched, I think, less than 6 months ago. Revenge of the Sith is the reason why it's one of my favorites within the series. It's the reason why it's the most memed Star Wars movie. It's the best of the prequels. And the story that Lucas wanted to tell, you can tell he put some care into this movie. Despite the fact that it still had its problems, such as overuse of CGI. I cringe with everybody else at the hokey acting and the cringe-worthy dialogue. Some moments I wish Lucas would give the special edition treatment and cut it out. But Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, Ian McDiarmid as Emperor Palpatine, the action, Order 66, the original trilogy connections, the progression of Anakin's story and how Lucas told it despite its flaws here and there, are what stick with me the most from Revenge of the Sith and why I love it so much. Hey, when this film hits it high, it hits it high. The Empire Strikes Back to me stands the test of time 40 years later because it is the perfect blueprint of what a sequel can and should be. It raises the stakes, challenges the characters, splits the team up, better action than the first, the world building just works, memorable music, memorable lines, memorable life lessons, practical effects that even 4 years later still stand the test of time. A plot twist that sets the precedent of what a plot twist can and should be. Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back are my two favorite Star Wars movies of all time. Empire at number 1 and Revenge at number 2. Yeah, I said it. I have a prequel in my top 2. Don't at me, bro. But I do love these two films. They have aged like fine wine, and I love to revisit them. I can't completely say the same thing about Iron Man 2, though. That's it for the Lassiter Factor Monthly Report. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, hit the like button. But seriously though, let me know in the comments section how you like this show. And who knows, what will happen in the month of June? What will Disney announce next? How will HBO Max do in the month of June? What movies that were supposed to come out in the theaters will get put on streaming or VOD? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is now airing its final season. How does it tie into the MCU as of recent? Is it even still tied to the MCU? And the other noteworthy movie anniversaries. We will see on the next episode of the Lassiter Factor Monthly Report.